All right, so let's sit tall and close the eyes. Take a nice breath in, a nice breath out. And just notice how you are showing up in this moment. What kind of awareness are you practicing? What kind of compassion are you carrying? What intention are you expressing in each breath, each thought, in each beat of your own heart? Bring your awareness to your physical body. Notice the condition. If there's a sense of strength and resiliency, tiredness, lethargy, if there's a sense of density or lightness, heat or cold, just notice whatever sensations and qualities are present in the physical body, the Annamaya Kosha. Muscle tension, flexibility, pain, discomfort, tension, relief. And don't judge any of it, just notice it. Be aware of it. Accept it 100%. Be non-attached to it, undisturbed and unaffected in your mind and in your heart. But have compassion, which is not affected. It is your nature. It's who you really are. And then bring your awareness to your energy, the energetics of the body, the quality of your breath. Maybe you can tune into the circulation of blood, lymph, interstitial fluids. Maybe you can feel or sense where there are blockages of energy. Maybe you can sense the chakras, the nadis, the spiritual energy that moves through. Whatever you're able to notice, don't judge any of it. Just be present to it. Be a witness, undisturbed, unattached, unaffected, with compassion only. Pranamaya Kosha, the energetic sheath. And then draw your awareness to Manomaya Kosha, the mental sheath, the mind, and notice the quality of the thoughts that are moving through. Notice how busy the mind is or how quiet, how much it's listening versus just staying busy. Just notice how the mind is functioning. And as you notice how the mind is functioning, don't judge. Be undisturbed, unaffected, and unattached to the chaos of the mind. And even if you find that your mind is in a place of peace right now, be unaffected, undisturbed, undistracted, unattached. Just notice. Manomaya Kosha, the mental sheath. And then bring your awareness to Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellectual sheath. Notice how your intellect is working right now. You're listening to my words, discerning what they mean, trying to make sense of what I'm saying to you. Recognize that as a natural function of the deeper mind, the logical part of the mind, and don't be attached to it. Be undisturbed, undistracted, and unaffected. Allow it to go about its business. But don't be attached to it. Recognize its value and its detriment. Recognize its purpose. And then bring yourself to Ananda Maya Kosha, the bliss sheath. And notice if you can touch the deep joy within yourself. Go beyond superficial happiness and satisfaction. Can you come into connection with the deepest joy, the deepest bliss, the deepest peace? Can you meet yourself in this moment? Can you meet the inner self, the true self, the peaceful self? And drawing the hands together in front of the heart, as we journey into knowing ourselves, let's lift our voices in 3 ohms. Take a nice breath in. Bowing the head to the heart, acknowledging all that is. And drawing the face to center, release the hands. So good to see you all here today. So today we're going to talk about the koshas, the 5 sheaths of experiential existence, as they are explained in yoga. So when we look at our life in this physical realm, the first thing that we are aware of is this body. This physical body, the bones, the muscles, the connective tissues. If you ask somebody about their life, they'll give you a roadmap that is either based on all of the good experiences that they had where they felt happy, or the injuries and traumas that they've experienced that have left them feeling sad and grief. Typically, our first story about our life is about this body's experience. What this body did that made us happy. What this body experienced that made us joyful. And what this body experienced that made us sad, brought us grief. And so the physical sheath, called the Annamaya Kosha, is the first way that we experience this life. And it's riddled with complexities. It sounds very straightforward, but there's so many interconnections in this body. You have a body that is made up of atoms, which make up molecules, which make up cells, which make up tissues, which make up organs, which make up systems, which makes an organism. And you have a physical experience from the cellular level up. Every cell in your body, and there are millions, has an experience. And some, like Candace Pert, a very famous scientist, suggests that every one of those cells absorbs your life experience on a physical level and stores it away for you to recall at another point in time where it is probably the least convenient. So from the cellular level on up, you're storing away physical memories until you get to a point where this entire body is a collection of physical memories. Memories of the past, of the things that have happened. And because when you look at that like a scale, what has happened is like, a huge storage room, like a warehouse, versus this moment, which is almost a singular experience that doesn't have any weight yet. Therefore, it's not at the front of our mind because it's outweighed by the past, or at least we think. It's kind of the way that we feel. So we're always looking at the past and at this physical collection of experiences that starts at a cellular level and that gets stored in all the tissues of the body, all the tissues of the organs of the body, all the systems of organs, and then into the entirety of this organism that I call Swamini, your organism that, you call your name, your nickname, and whatever other names you call yourself, based on your physical experience of yourself. It's riddled with slippery slopes, misunderstandings, assumptions, disappointments, congratulations, good feelings, pleasure, pain, preference. This physical body is really overwhelming, And this physical body has a connection to the energetic body, which is the second way we experience life. That would be pranamaya kosha. And the energetic experience is inclusive of circulation in the physical body. So there's an inherent intimate connection between the two. Because how well your body is circulating, blood, lymph, interstitial fluids, breath, oxygen, toxins, prana, is going to define in some significant way how your physical body functions. And then later, how your brain functions and your mind functions and your intellect functions. It's all really intimately connected. But we segregate out the pranamaya kosha because it's helpful to understand that we have not only a physical experience, but we also have an energetic experience. And when the physical experience becomes overwhelmed by injury and trauma and disappointment, we can go to the energetic sheath if we have the skill. And we can take up practices that feed the physical body with a higher vibrational quality that can support its healing and our appropriate relationship to it. Does that make sense? Yeah? We can pick up pranayama practices, alternate nostril breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, belly breathing, all these different things to bring us into a healthier relationship with our energy, which brings us into a healthier relationship with our body and everything else that's physical in this world. The third sheath of experience that we have, the third kosha, is manomaya kosha. Manomaya kosha is the mind. And you might have already noticed that we're getting subtler. The physical body's gross. I know right where it is. It's right here. The pranamaya kosha, it's contained somewhere in this body. On the grossest level of the pranamaya kosha, I can say something happens in the veins and arteries of this body, something happens within the nervous system of this body, there's energy traveling back and forth, but I can't point to you where the nadis are, and I can't pinpoint to you where the chakras are. I can only suggest that they're here. So they're more subtle than the physical. And then the manomaya kosha, the mind, I don't know where that is. It's here somewhere. Maybe it's here everywhere. Maybe the little part of every cell of our being has a mind of its own. And that mind is functioning in collaboration and coordination with every other cell's mind and anti-resistant against every other, because every mind has an ego. So every part of the self is behaving both collaboratively and not. And then there's the big mind. There's the mind that we think is housed in the brain. And that mind has something called an ego. If you look at your body as a collection of cells, and you agree that every cell has its own intelligence, then your body is a colony, is it not? It is a colony of cells. And it's a colony of tissues, and it's a colony of systems. It's like village, town, city, and it's a colony of nations. And then there's someone who's in charge. The mind. Ego. We know by looking at the world that we have different types of leaders in the world, right? We have compassionate leaders. We have leaders who are sound, very good judges, very good legislators, very understanding of what's needed in society. And then we have tyrants. We have warmongers. We have leaders in this world that are out for themselves only. This is not a conversation about external politics. What I'm actually asking you is, what kind of leader are you over your nation organism? Are you a compassionate, understanding, attentive leader, or are you a tyrant? Oh, some people just breathed in and breathed out. Got to answer that question honestly, though. If you wish to make spiritual change in your life, you need to know what kind of leader you are. Not just leader of others, leader of this. Where are you leading yourself to? Are you like those little birds that jump over the cliff for no reason? What are they called? Lemmings, thank you. I can never remember. I always want to call them a dodo bird. But I know they're not. Yeah, the lemmings, right? Anybody watch the Ice Age with the little lemmings, right? And they've got like 3 watermelons and 1 female, and then they all go over. Yeah, that was their preparation for the Ice Age, for the big apocalypse. 3 watermelons and a female. Yeah. It's funny, watch it. So we have this thing called an ego, and the ego, the super ego, is the leader of this community that we call a body. And we need to understand on some level how it functions. It's part of the Manomaya Kosha. It's affected by the prana and Annamaya Kosha. So it's part of the mind, but it's also affected and influenced by the energetic sheath and by the physical sheath. And it's very self-interested. Very self-interested. When it's not healthy and not balanced, it is completely self-interested. So much so that it will annihilate anybody else in its own self-interest. When it's healthy, it's not. When it's healthy, it is generous and good-natured and supportive, and it has understanding. It still has self-interest even when it's healthy. That's the ego's job. But the self-interest is not to other people's detriment. There's a little bit of altruism there maybe when it's really healthy, completely balanced. It understands that if you thrive, I thrive. If you suffer, I suffer. And so the healthiest ego seeks to serve the wellness of others because it understands on some level that that's also in its own best interest. So it's not truly altruistic, but it's moving in that direction. Then we have the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And the Vijnanamaya Kosha, some people talk about it like it's a little pocket within the Manomaya Kosha, that is the intellect. It's part of the mind that discerns. It's the part of the mind that sees and understands pretty clearly what's going on. But that discernment is based in a couple of things. The first thing that it's based in is past experience, because that's what tips the scale. That's the heaviest part. That's what carries the most weight in our understanding of anything, is what we have experienced in the past. So it's very hard to become unstuck. The second thing is that the intellect can use its discerning faculty to look at something and to work to recognize the truth about it. And that also is influenced by the past, but it's also influenced by odds, or what the intellect can discern to be tendencies or likelihoods. So the intellect functions on a couple of different levels. It functions on a third level that we're not too sure how to define. It just knows right from wrong, harm from not harm. It just knows. There's a feeling. You ever have that feeling when you know the truth about something? Yeah. Some part of that is the intellect doing its job, drawing you out of the unhealthy ego and into the practice of discernment. And discernment is a very important spiritual practice. The Mother Durga is completely about discernment. Her battles, she lays out for us the path of discernment. She says, you have to fight Madhu and Kaitab first. They're demons. They're crazy demons that come to attack her and bring her back to Mahish Asura to be his wife. Swamini, there's no demons. There's no fire-breathing things roaming the earth. Sweet and bitter. Madhu means sweet, and Kaitab means bitter. And your preference between what is sweet and what is bitter is the most profound demon you will ever encounter. It doesn't have to be something that climbed up out of the bowels of hell. It climbed up out of yours. And it causes so much pain in this life. And she says to us, the goddess mother of the universe says, in order to become a discerning individual, you need to know what your preferences between these two are, and you need to annihilate that preference. You need to end it. It's not that you can't have enjoyment, but you don't really have enjoyment when you're like, I'm going to go for the sweet. You're only going for the sweet out of habitual tendencies. You're not going for the sweet to truly enjoy with gratitude the sweet. I know this firsthand. Darn those truffles. And those cookies that Brahmani made. Oh. At some point, it's not about the gratitude. It's about the sensory satisfaction. You all been there? Yeah, totally. And then the bitter heartache, the bitter words, the things we work so hard to avoid, like the plague. You got to become indifferent to them and not let them affect, disturb, or distract you. Got to annihilate the demon. What does it matter what other people say? I mean, really. What does it matter what they think of you? It doesn't. They're just telling a story because their story got bored in the moment. Now they're picking up another story, and in a moment they're going to pick up a different story. So great, you gave them a story. It's a gift. I mean, think about that, right? We get so aggravated thinking about people talking badly about us. MYOB, mind your own business. Don't worry about what other people say about you. It's none of your business. If you're living your life properly, then you have nothing to worry about. And people who tell stories are known as storytellers. And they'll tell a story about you, and they'll tell a story about 10,000 other people. And what that story entails doesn't really matter. The intellect is what allows us to understand this and implement it in our life. The mind and the imbalanced ego is what causes us to grasp onto it and to say 10 years from now, so-and-so was talking about me in high school. I still don't like that person. 40 years from now, maybe even. Go back to your high school reunion, your 50th high school reunion, and you'll still have little cliques in each corner and going, do you remember that guy Joe on the football team? Do you remember that cheerleader Sally? It's like, move forward, closer to now, and stop worrying about that. It doesn't have a value for you anymore. It's either sweet or it's bitter. You're attached or you're detesting it. If you let go of it, you'll experience freedom. At least a little bit. Your shoulders will go from here to here. You'll walk with your head higher and your heart more open. And you won't feel like you can be easily wounded. You won't feel like everybody's attacking you. But you got to let go of those preferences. You have to discern what matters and what doesn't. So Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellect, the discernment. And the next one is the Anandamaya Kosha. Ananda. A lot of times we say that Ananda. Ananda is happy, but Ananda is bliss. 2 A's, not one. The Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss Kosha. This is the experience, peace. Absolute contentment, absolutely. Not disturbed. Not distracted. Not dejected. Not affected. Just the simple peace of being in the moment. And the intention that's coming forward is an intention for the unity and healing of all beings everywhere. Sometimes we talk about Anandamaya Kosha like Anandamaya Kosha. We talk about it like the other happy. Like, I want to be happy, so I'm going to go to Bermuda. I want to be happy, so I'm going to climb Mount Machu Picchu. I want to be happy, so I'm going to go buy some clothes. I want to be happy, so I'm going to go have a martini. I want to be happy, so I'm going to go have some sex. I'm going to go have some drugs. I'm going to go get something. That's a much, much lesser happy that doesn't have any staying value for you, or for me, or for anybody. Those are transient experiences of satisfaction, which actually aren't satisfying. Because, you go and you have the sex and then you feel crappy about yourself. You go and take the drug and then you have a hangover. You go and buy the clothes and then you have a bill from your credit card company. Whatever you go and get outside of yourself has just as much, if not more, potential to cause you to feel pain as it does to satisfy you. And inevitably, whatever satisfies you in one moment won't satisfy you in the next because it won't be there. Everything is transient. Everything. Somebody says they love you, it's wonderful. Be grateful for it. But don't expect that to be there. It is a gift in a moment. And you don't know what the future holds. And things change. And that person may not say that to you a year, 5 years, 10 years from now. Maybe they won't be alive. Or maybe the relationship will have separated. Or maybe the relationship is still together, but you don't like each other anymore. So because you don't like each other anymore, Madhu and Kaitab, you don't say I love you anymore, which has actually not much to do with like. Like is preference. Love is inherent. But because our egos tend to be unhealthy, we say, I don't like you, therefore I don't love you, and I'm not going to tell you I do. But the real statement is, I don't like you in this moment because my ego is completely unbalanced and I'm in a really, really bad place, so I'm not going to say I love you because I want to punish you for my own suffering, which I inflicted on myself, by the way. Isn't that crazy? Oh my goodness. It's so complicated. So complicated. If we truly wish to exist within the Anandamaya Kosha, then we need to move beyond the idea of satisfaction and into the idea of non-violence. No harming. And that is no one else's responsibility but ours. I can look at each one of you and say, you should be non-harming this way. You should be non-harming this way. You should be non-harming this way. But if I'm not practicing it, what the hell does it matter? If I'm still walking through the world harming everybody, then what I'm telling you is hypocritical. Right? Absolutely. Somebody in the week training, the yin training, said very beautifully, I don't want to teach it if I'm not practicing it myself. Exactly. So stop pointing fingers at other people and telling them how to be when you're not being. You have to be. Kick up your game. Pick it up a couple thousand notches. You're courageous enough. You're brave enough. You're strong enough. You could do it. I have 100% faith in you. You can absolutely do it. You can be that love walking through this world. And that doesn't make you a snowflake. Dear God, it makes you a warrior. It's easy to hate. Hate is weakness. To hate is to say, I'm too freaking lazy to love you. So I'm just going to hate you because it's just easier. To love is to be a warrior, is to stand up and to utilize your strength and your skill and your mastery to bring something worthwhile into the world. Does that make sense? Yeah? And guess what? You can be mad as hell at somebody and still love them. Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. You can be so gutturally angry at somebody for something that they have done that harmed you and still love them. And here's why you maybe should think about that a little bit. Because if there's someone in your life who has hurt you significantly, and you spend even a fraction of your life wishing condemnation on them, in retaliation for what they have done, may they suffer. May they know the pain. May it come back to them tenfold. Do you know what you're asking for? You're asking for that person to become even more violent. Because a caged animal will attack. But an animal who is allowed to heal won't. So what you actually could spiritually want for that person who has harmed you is their complete healing. So that they don't harm anybody else. Or you anymore. Yeah. But it's hard because now the ego just jumped forward and said, screw that. They need to get what they deserve. Who are we to say what that is? Maybe they've suffered so much they deserve to heal. Healthy people don't hurt people. Healthy people don't harm people. Healthy people don't hit, rape, torture, manipulate. murder other people, abuse other people. Healthy people don't do that. So you know they're not healthy. And if you saw a person that you didn't know sitting in a wheelchair with some kind of illness, wouldn't you hope in your heart that there was some kind of treatment that could help them? It's the same thing. The thing that's in our way is the ego. That's what's in our way of wishing them truly peace. It's sad and it's unfortunate, and in my life, most of you know, I've been on the receiving end of some pretty significant harm. I can't carry that with me for my whole life. I won't last. No way. I can't carry that pissed offness, that anger. I had to work through it. Now, mind you, it took 10 years. Holy cow. Literally, holy cow. It took 10 years. Yeah, a little Hindu joke there. It took 10 years to even begin to heal from that, but it's possible. You can, especially if you want to experience the fullness of Anandamaya Kosha. You need to do the work of the healing and the discernment, balancing the ego, and paying less credence to the mind and its ramblings, and balancing your energy and treating this physical body with dignity and respect, keeping it healthy as much as possible. And when it's not healthy because of something that's out of your control, accepting it and not condemning it, and taking as good of care of it as possible. So these 5 sheaths of experience, they're complicated. And one day we wake up kind of frustrated with life and we say, I'm going to become spiritual today and everything's going to get better. Do you even know the spider web that we're all trapped in? You touch one part of a spider web and you stick to it. You try to pull free from that and you pull so hard your hand sticks someplace else. And pretty soon you're like being spun into a little ball by that spider. That's what that statement's like. You can't just wake up one day and everything is fixed. It's a process. And it's a process that requires a deepening of devotion and a deepening of inquiry and a deepening of curiosity and a deepening of vulnerability, a deepening of asking questions, a deepening of vision, a more clear and profound use of the senses so that they're not just guiding you to the greatest, latest smelling baked goods, that you're using them in a way that supports your healing and doesn't negate it. We need to bring every facet of our being, which is like a multifaceted diamond, so many facets, working within each one of those levels and layers until the stormy ocean becomes less and less stormy. And pretty soon, there's just some ripples and waves every once in a while. And maybe there's a big wave every now and then, but then over time, the skill is put in place through your spiritual practice to deal with that wave, and you can ride it like the most skilled surfer. Have you ever seen a skilled surfer ride a wave? It's the most beautiful thing you could ever see. Now they get on that board and they just go. And even as the wave is crashing down, they're in the tunnel. That's so cool. Wouldn't it be great to do that in life? But what do you think that person had to do to learn how to ride that board, to ride that wave? Do you think he never crashed? Oh, he crashed. Pretty treacherously. It wasn't like he got on the board and that was it. No, he didn't just wake up one day. and be perfect at it. He woke up every day. He stumbled and he fell and he crashed, and he never gave up. So when we step on to this spiritual path, which we've never been off of anyway, but maybe we just wake up to the idea that we're actually on one already, you're going to fall. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to be angry. You're going to experience emotions. You're a human being. You may carry a drop of the nectar of the God in you, but you're not God. And even if you were God, like the God, the consciousness, the goddess, Shiva, the Lord Shiva, he represents consciousness. When he's in a physical body, he's got anger issues. And lots of them. Kali, the mother goddess, the Maha Shakti of destruction, and all of these changes that naturally happen in nature. When she's embodied, she almost destroys the earth with her anger. When you're embodied, you're going to experience emotions. Absolutely. Kama. Kama is the god of love and desire. When Kama is embodied, he's attached to pleasure. You're going to be attached to things. But the question is, how can you learn to be healthfully distanced from that attachment? And you can, absolutely. By embracing more of the divinity that exists within you and less of the ego. By embracing more of what we call the Atman. The Atman is the true self, the inner self, the light self, the compassionate self, the self based in love and peace. Versus the self that's based in self-aggrandizement and acquiring. And lashing out. Well, it depends on what you're going to go. Are you going to reach for the strawberry ice cream or the pistachio? Are you going to feed, like the Native American story goes, little boy goes to his grandfather and says, Grandfather, I had a dream. There are 2 wolves living inside of me, and they're fighting, and I woke up. I don't know who won. Who will win? And the grandfather looked at the boy and said, whichever one you feed. So which one will you feed? Will you feed the koshas of the body so that you can become more out of balance and disharmonious? Deeper suffering. Or will you feed your koshas, feed your body, feed your mind, feed your energy in a way that brings you balance and introduces you to the essence of who you really are? I'll open it up for questions, comments, or reflections. Yes?
Where do the 5 senses fit into meditations?
Yeah.
Senses, I've been told.
What was that?
10 senses?
10 senses. Well, there's 5 senses, and then it depends on the tradition. So there's 5 senses and there's 5 faculties.
Okay.
And then there are 10 senses and 10 faculties, and then there are 5 senses and 10 faculties. So we'll just simplify it and say that the senses of sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch, they are intertwined through all 5 levels of experience. Within the physical body is the receptor. I felt that. I saw that. I smelled that. I heard that. I tasted that. So the physical body is the receptor, it receives. The energetic body is the sponge. It absorbs. It absorbs what the body receives. So the prana in the body receives. Well, you go watch the latest Friday the 13th movie. Just go watch the latest Friday the 13th movie and see how the energy of your body receives that. And then go see the latest, A Dog's Life, and see how the energy of your body absorbs that. The energy of your body absorbs the horror by becoming short of breath, by becoming stuck, maybe a reminder of an old trauma that's still hanging around in its residue. You watch the movie about a dog's life and your heart melts and, your breath gets deep and maybe a couple of tears get cried. I was a little surprised at that movie, actually. Any of you see that? Mm-hmm. I brought my grandchildren to go see it. I think it was A Dog's Life. And my granddaughter, and my grandson too, and he's 11. At the time he was 10. My granddaughter was like, no. It was really traumatic. Anyway, I digress. So bringing it back in. And then the manomaya kosha, the mind goes by the senses and says, oh, I like that. I don't like that. I like that. I don't like that. I want that. I don't want that. The mind starts to use that information from the senses in order to create patterns of behavior that are played out through the parts of the body and the energetic field. And then the intellectual sheath interacts with the senses because it makes sense of them, makes sense of the senses. It says, on some discerning level, you've had enough chocolate today. I think you shouldn't have any more or you're going to get a bellyache. And then the ego mind says, but I want that chocolate. So I'm not going to listen to you because you're just a smaller part of the mind anyway. And then you go for the chocolate because you smell it, you taste it. It comes into the energetic field of the body. It becomes part of the body because you are what you eat. And then the belly, the physical belly says you shouldn't have had that last one. And now you've got digestive issues. See how it plays out? It's all intertwined. Then you come to Anandamaya Kosha. And the senses play there because in two ways. The first is that when the senses are out of control, we get stuck in the ego's idea of happy. Well, I want the chocolate because the chocolate's going to give me something that I want. And that happy leads to pain, which is actually a breach of the Anandamaya Kosha. When the senses are controlled, and you can have a piece of chocolate or anything every once in a while with complete gratitude, with complete appreciation, with mindfulness, then it contributes to the overall balance and bliss can be experienced. That's how they interact. It's a wonderful question. Yeah. Yes?
I wanted to ask for everyone's prayers. A very sad thing happened last night that a 9-month-old baby boy went to heaven.
Oh.
He was perfectly healthy a week ago. I work with his mother at St. Burke's, and she's a wonderful mother in love with her baby, like every mother and father. And he got a cold. It was like any other cold, and then it got worse. And then they took him to Red Hospital, and it was pneumonia, and they helicoptered him to Children's Hospital, and it just kept getting worse, and they tried everything. And I don't know if you have any advice, but in addition to being sad, I'm just so angry. I just feel so furious that
You need to be right
I
now.
can dish that out to perfectly beautiful young parents.
You need to be sad right now. And if anger is what you're feeling, then feel it. What is his name? Hudson.
Yeah.
Hudson.
Sweet, sweet baby. She brought him to work. We all held him,
Over time, focus on a little bit of a sense of gratitude for the moments of love that that child brought into this world. Over time, focus a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more on his smile, the light in his eyes, and the gift that that brought to people And over time, accept a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and understanding that we have no control. That we are each to come here for a certain amount of time, for certain purposes. And that was his. And on a level of the heart, be grateful that you met him, that you had the chance to spend that time in the midst of such beautiful innocence. He must have reminded you of so much of your own innocence, of your own capacity to love. Grieve the loss, absolutely. You need to feel anger? Feel the anger, absolutely. Sit with it. Don't stuff it. Sit with it. Set time for it every day. When it's overwhelming and you can't have it in a particular time, then pull over to the side of the road and just hand to the heart, hand to the belly, feel it. Feel it. And then say, this might not be anger. This might be such a deep, profound love. But I'm going to feel it the way it arrives. And I'm going to hold a space for it. And I'm going to accept it. Little by little. And then let's just take a moment. Everybody place the hands onto the heart. And to the beloved Hudson, who brought so much love, so much peace, and so much joy to the hearts of so many. Though your time here was brief, your importance is eternal. Your love is eternal, and your light is eternal. May the family, the mother, the father, the friends, may they know healing in their own time. And as time moves on, may they remember more and more the love that they felt and the innocence that he brought with him. May they see his smile. May they remember his laugh. May this loss bring them closer to each other and not further away. May we honor Hudson for the teacher that he came here to be and for the teachings that he brought. May he rest in peace. Amen. Hallelujah. Namaste. Satnam. 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 And lifting the head, releasing the hands. Would anybody else like to reflect or ask any questions? Okay. So what we'll do now... Oh, thank you so much. We'll close our wisdom circle with a little meditation. And then we're going to take maybe a 10-minute break and come back for arti. And that's the other thing that I would suggest, is to stay for the arti. Arti, it just so is good for the heart. So good for the heart. Yeah. So let's sit nice and tall. And we're going to close the eyes. The most powerful remedy for that which ails us is compassion. The most powerful balancer of these koshas, these experiences of life, metta meditation, the practice of loving kindness. So breathing in and breathing out, call to mind the face of a person you love. someone who means the world to you. It's easy to smile when you think of them. Call their face to your mind. Acknowledge that they have suffered in this life and that they have been happy. Be grateful for their happiness. And with regard to any suffering that they have experienced, send them this affirmation. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be deeply happy. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be deeply happy. May you know joy. Now call to mind people that you like, friends, acquaintances that you get along with well. Again, it's pretty easy to smile when you think of their face. Visualize their face. Acknowledge that they have had happiness in this life. Acknowledge that they have also suffered. Be grateful for their happiness. And with regard to their suffering, send them this affirmation. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you know joy in this life. Now bring to mind faces of some people that you've seen, but you don't know them. You're indifferent to them. You don't have a relationship with them, except maybe they pack your groceries or pump your gas in your car. People that you've seen, but you don't know. Allow yourself to know that they have experienced both happiness and suffering in this life. Be grateful for their happiness. With regard to their suffering, send them this affirmation. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you know joy, deep joy in this life. Now call to mind the faces of people. You'll have to use your imagination, people you've never seen. You just kind of know they're out there somewhere. People of all cultures, people all different skin colors, all different eye colors, all different hair colors, heights, shapes, everything. Religions, traditions, languages, all over the world. Just imagine all those people. Allow yourself to understand that they have been happy and that they have suffered. Be grateful for their happiness. Take a moment to imagine their suffering. Imagine the loss of loved ones. Imagine illness. Imagine war, violence, natural disasters. Imagine their suffering. And send them the affirmation. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you know joy, deep joy in this life. Now bring to mind the face of a person that you dislike. It could be someone who you feel has harmed you in some way. See their face. Allow yourself to understand that they have been truly happy and they have truly suffered in this life. Take a moment to envision their suffering, that maybe they've lost a loved one, they've been bullied or harmed, abused, they've had loss of some sort. Have compassion for their suffering and send them the affirmation. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be truly happy. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be truly happy. May you know deep joy, true joy in this life. Now you're looking in a mirror at your own reflection. See yourself. Understand that you have been both happy and you have suffered in this life. Be grateful for your happiness. Compassion for your suffering. Send yourself the following affirmation. May I be safe as everyone everywhere simply wishes to be safe. May I be healthy as everyone everywhere simply wishes to be healthy. May I be happy as everyone everywhere simply wishes to be happy. May I know deep joy. May we all know deep joy in this life. Now see yourself in a room with all these people. You're in the center of this community of people. The people you love, the people you like, the people that you've seen but don't know, the people that are strangers that you've never seen, the people that you dislike. And you're right in the middle. And there's a light shining from the heart of each one of you. And with each breath, that light grows greater and greater, brighter and brighter. It overwhelms the physical body, and all that's left is the energetic outline. It overwhelms the energetic outline, and all that's left is the light. May we all be safe. May we all be healthy. May we all be happy. Drawing the hands together in front of the heart. We'll lift our voices together in one beautiful Om. Take a nice breath in. Bowing the head to the heart, acknowledging all that is, and draw the face to center. Such an honor to gather with you all today. Namaste. We'll do arti now and break this heart open even bigger, even more. So about 10 minutes, we'll meet up here on the stage. Thank you.